This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard the tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back legally on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. There's a Florida movie fan who broke a Guinness World Record by seeing Avengers Endgame in movie theaters nearly 200 times, which means, Rev, he's a bigger Thanos fan than you.
No, it's because Endgame is not the Thanos movie. Infinity War is the Thanos movie.
Jeez, BJ, get with it.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, wow, okay.
You're so ignorant.
Yeah.
The man's name is Ramiro, and he said he was inspired to seek the Guinness World Record for the most cinema productions attended of the same film after the former record holder saw Avengers Infinity War, the previous film in the franchise, 103 times. So how many times did you see Infinity War, Rev?
Probably about 7 or 8 times.
Yeah, not 103, so sorry.
Man.
You are not a Thanos fan.
Dude, I'm just trying to quick math. That's nearly, because he said he saw it in the theater, so it's not like you watched it on a streaming thing or a DVR or a DVD where you could keep watching and not lose money. I mean, that's like about a couple $1,000s that he spent just to watch this movie over and over and over again.
And I don't know if we can do the math, but with as far as he said, he did it in 90 days. So he watched it 191 times in 90 days, which means you had to watch it more than once a day. That's for sure. I just don't know.
Sometimes 3 times a day.
Yeah. Wow. So many times. And he said, the most difficult part about this attempt was giving up my social life with my family, the gym, and managing my work hours and screening times at the theaters.
Did he get popcorn each time? Because then missing the gym is probably a really bad thing for him.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, apparently it took some time for Guinness to process his application and go over his submitted evidence, which included photos and ticket stubs. Oh. But he was smart enough to do that. He was smart enough to have the photos and ticket stubs, so at least then he didn't have to go, oh, man, you're not going to give me credit for this?
Yeah, I guess any knucklehead could be like, oh, I've seen it 200 times, and you can't prove it. So it's, unless Guinness is sitting there with them, which I doubt they're going to do that.
See, Guinness, probably back when they first started, people were doing things that were impressive. And now they got to go get these kind of submissions and go, so I guess we have to say it's a world record.
That's somewhat impressive. The movie's 3 hours long. So he saw it, what, how many times? Like
191.
191. That basically comes out to a lot.
Thank you for the math.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could maybe math it. That didn't work out
like
at all.
He was trying to come up with an equation, and he really came up with nothing.
And I lost it.
I thought I had the answer, and you were acting like as if you were going to figure it out and then just randomly come up with the perfect number.
That's what I thought, because we busted him for trying to sound smart by just looking on the internet. I thought that's exactly what he was doing right there.
Well, spending a little time doing the math, it looks like it's about 573 hours, which would be basically 24 days.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. So he spent 24 days, basically 24-hour days, though it took him 90 days to actually get it done with his schedule.
One texter says, when I was a kid, I watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure at least 128 times just because I thought it was awesome.
Wow. I don't know if I can say that I've watched any movie that much. I know I've watched a lot of movies. multiple times, but boy, it seems like a lot.
What's the one, if you could think of like one or two movies that you've seen that you're positive, if you had to tally up, those are the movies that you watch the most?
Oh, definitely The Matrix.
The Matrix, yeah. For me, definitely Rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky and Miracle, the hockey Disney movie. I think those two movies I've probably watched more than any other movie I've seen.
I would say the Star Wars movies. And I would probably go with Star Wars itself because that was the first one. I always see, because I like to watch all of the movies before the next one comes out. So in that case, Star Wars has been seen more than anything since it was the first movie.
What about Rev?
For me,
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, that one I can easily say I've seen over 20 times. But probably the movie that I've seen the most, I would imagine, would be Aladdin. Because my younger brother and sister, they're about a decade younger than me, and so it was that Disney time for them, and that was one of those movies that was on constant repeat because kids will just watch it forever.
And it's a good one, though. As an adult, you still can appreciate it.
Yeah, it is actually a good one, so that was kind of a relief on that.
I don't know if should we even ask Danny?
Oh, it's Titanic.
Actually, no, because that movie is so long.
Old school.
For me, it's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because
I didn't even think about Christmas movies, like Christmas Vacation and Elf, and I might have seen those up there too a bunch.
Well, and for me too, I don't discriminate for the time of year, so I just watch Nightmare Before. I probably watch Nightmare Before Christmas once a week, along with Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And
okay,
just some like random movie because I don't watch new movies, so I just have a bunch on my DVR that I just turn on. So American Pie Reunion.
It's just like comfort food.
Yeah, I don't actually watch the movies, or I don't watch TV. I just watch movies over and over again.
Wow,
great.
That's completely out of my viewing zone. That's nuts.
One texter says Tommy Boy at least 50 times. Another person says The Sandlot, and then my favorite, I watched Debbie Does Dallas at least 200 times.
There we go.
I don't know if you finished the movie though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. Good call.
I've watched the opening credits. How many times? Yeah.
Right.
I want to try to guess Vicky. I always guess this because usually it is the thing, but I got to go with The Crow.
Yep.
Funny enough, no.
Oh,
because
what?
it is one of my favorite movies, but I only watch it on special occasions because I don't want to ruin the magic, if you will.
Oh, you don't want to Danny it.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think, I know as a kid, the one that I irritated my mom with over and over again was The Little Mermaid.
Aw.
Yep.
As an adult, I'm trying to think. It's either Ratatouille, Wreck-It Ralph, or Pirates of the Caribbean. Ratatouille, my dad, his nickname for me since I was a little baby is Ratita.
Ratita, the little rat.
It was a little rat because I love cheese and I had a toy rat. So I'm a little rat, little mouse. So anything rat related, and I love cooking. So it was just like the perfect movie for us. And it's a fun movie. You can rewatch it over and over again if you're an adult, if you're a kid.
That one's on all the time in our house. My girlfriend loves that movie.
Ratatouille.
Yeah, because she loves cooking, and so that movie is just
like cooking rats.
That too.
It's a rat that's cooking, not them cooking rats.
Yeah, that would be a whole different movie.
Yeah,
Steve.
very distinct. Wow.
Honestly, I think once Steve gets to the Disney film portion of childhood for Tatum, you're going to really love Ratatouille.
Yes.
I look forward to that time because my wife is not a big fan of watching movies repeatedly. So this is kind of like a fun troll opportunity because she's going to have to learn how to like watching the same thing. Like right now, she's even with some of the shows on Universal Kids. She's like, we just saw this one like last week. I'm like, get used to it. This is just how it's going to be.
Sometimes you'll just have to watch the same thing like literally over and over and over again in the same hour.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, unless Baby Tater Tot is like her mom and it's like, I've seen that. I'm done.
I've never heard of a kid that
never
doesn't watch things repeatedly.
You have to hope that happens because it at least keeps them entertained so you get to take a breath. I mean, as much as you may not want to see that over and over again, you want to breathe and take a rest more that you'll deal with that.
I hope she really likes like WrestleMania 3 personally, and we can just watch that over and over again.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, Hogan slammed Andre in that one. Come on.
That was a good one.
It goes in stages, too. I feel like Lily was to the point of where for 6 months she would watch The Greatest Showman and knew all the songs and everything like that. And the other day I asked her, I was like, do you still want to watch? And she's like, nah, now it's the Goofy movie again. And that's going to be another 6 months of that.
That's a good one, though.
Oh, it's amazing.
Well, we've talked about
Best movie ever.
Yeah, you guys are using
there
the
we
wrong
go.
adjective for the Goofy movie, okay? I mean, I'm sure it's enjoyable, but it's not, we've determined it's not in the top 10 of Disney movies, guys. So, Yeah, you really got to expose your kid to better movies. That's all I'm saying.
What, like Star Trek?
Well, listen, that's a good start, Steve. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of other stuff out there. I would start with Starship Troopers. Joey didn't hurt Joey at all. At a young age to watch that
not
movie.
at all.
Yeah, that didn't give him nightmares. So start with Starship Troopers, something light.
Jeez.
A light movie like that.
Something Forrest Gump. I've seen it hundreds of times. Yeah. Whenever Forrest Gump's on, I'll watch it for a little bit of time because it's always fun.
And it's always on these days.
That too.
I don't know why. It's always on somewhere.
It's got such a good soundtrack, too.
That too.
I don't know what happened to me that movie hasn't hit me the way it hit everybody else. I mean, I enjoyed it when I watch it, but I don't really have a desire to see it again. And when it does come up on whatever, of course, I never watch anything just to watch it. I always have appointment television, whatever I'm doing, but I don't have a desire.
This is not in my appointment. Goodbye, Forrest.
Well, yeah, you guys, I mean, it's amazing how many people just turn the TV on to see what's on. I always know what's on because I've got everything DVR'd. I never watch anything just randomly. It's always got to be something that I know is recorded or a show I've heard about. I never just go, let me just randomly see what's on.
I mean, you watch live sports, though.
Not anymore, Steve. I actually record my sports and I watch it when I want to watch it.
Fair.
Obviously, I know I have to watch it relatively soon after it's been on.
Because you'll get spoiled.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. Obviously, there are certain things like Seahawks games or the Super Bowl that I think, it's kind of fun to watch live. But anymore, really, I don't think anything I watch is live. All right, so we got a 28-year-old dude in Tokyo, and last week he broke into a trading card store on the top floor of a 60-story building. He climbed onto the roof, tied a piece of rope to the railing, and dropped it over to the side, and then used the rope to rappel down the side of the building about 16 feet with no safety harness, broke the window of the store, and went inside. And he did all this. Why? He wanted to steal some Pokemon cards. And look, Pokemon cards are going crazy.
Is this the premise to a new podcast series called My Pokemon?
Yeah. Dude, it's nuts. If you go to any Target store or whatever, they got signs up. I guess there's something going on in the world of Pokemon where people are going nuts over cards that are being released or, lately or whatever. My buddies at Zulu's Board Game Cafe say that is the hot new item as far as that's what they're selling out of and that's what people want a whole bunch of. And this guy willing to break into a joint 6 stories up. And how about this? He breaks in, but he doesn't even take the more valuable Pokemon cards. He apparently didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Yeah, he got away with about $9,100 worth of cards, another $2,400 in cash.
And he was getting it for someone in his family, as a gift or something? That seems kind of weird.
Well, he did get caught. They had security camera footage, and he told them that he stole the cards to pay off a debt and, quote, I was in my high school's rock climbing club, so I was not afraid of heights.
See, so people do learn stuff from high school.
Yeah.
Did you bring up Pokemon? I saw somebody shared a meme, and it just cracked me up, because I guess there was for a brief period of time, there was some of the hot spots for the Pokemon game were at gentlemen's clubs. So people were going to gentlemen's clubs. Nice. So there's a gentlemen's club by the name of Vixens. I don't know where it is, but we need to visit it because it says rare Pokemon in the VIP room, and it's a big sign outside of their building. And then the name of that Pokemon card or the Pokemon is Asclepius.
Of course it is. Yeah, it is.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
New on Curiosity Stream. Are we close to building machines that are almost human? And can new technology give us superpowers? Find out on Super Sapiens. And In 1919, a British composer wrote the longest and most complex symphony in history. Conductors tried to perform it, but failed, declaring it cursed. Now a group of musicians will attempt the impossible, if they dare, on Curse of the Gothic Symphony. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Want to create a lifetime of memories this spring? Do you remember the joy of jumping as a child? If only there was a way your own kids could experience that same joy safely. Spring Free Trampoline has been engineered to eliminate 90% of product-related injuries. The Spring Free design boasts no springs and a flexible enclosure and proudly offers a 10-year warranty. That's peace of mind. Lock in your ultimate backyard safe space before summer arrives. Visit springfreetrampoline.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. Well, as you know, Danny loves the Disneyland more than the Disney World.
That is true.
And
I'm indifferent on both. I love both. I'm indifferent. I'm obsessed with them when I get to go.
Sure.
Which I don't get to go as much as Danny, but if give me Disneyland or Disney World, and I'm gonna have a blast.
I mean, I agree with you completely. I'm just saying, gun to my head, if I had to choose one or the other, it has to be Disneyland.
Is there a specific reason why?
You know, I think that it was just Walt's original park that he imagined up. And so at that point, it's like you feel like you're stepping into history when you go to that one. Whereas like Disney World was just kind of mirrored off of that. And it's really big. There's a lot to do there, which is great. But at the same time, like Disneyland, I don't know, it's just a more like a homey feeling. I don't know.
Oh, so that's it, because I've never been to Disneyland, and I thought Disney World was amazing, and I've always heard Disneyland was smaller, so you like it because it seems to be for all those reasons.
Yes, and there's actually, fun fact, there's actually more rides at Disneyland's Magic Kingdom than there is at Disney World.
Felt that way when we went to Disney World the last time we went, which was a little over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and I was just like, Epcot's okay. But I felt like it was like, I don't know, I just wasted a lot of time walking around Epcot.
Yeah.
And the Jungle Safari one, like, that was just, I don't know why we did that, to be honest with you.
Animal Kingdom?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I don't know the names of these things. I just show up and go.
Fair enough.
Well, they are only talking about the rides at Disney World, but they've got they asked 5,000 people all over the states and said, okay, what's the best ride at Disney World? And we got them. We've got the top 10 best rides at Disney World.
If it's not Space Mountain, I'm leaving.
Sir, you are absolutely right.
Phew, crisis averted.
Yeah,
I know that was a very aggressive statement, but Space Mountain's the greatest ride ever.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been on Space Mountain, so I can't even remember it.
Dude, the first time I ever went on Space Mountain, I had so much fun. My wife thought it was so hilarious because the minute I got off the ride, I went to their souvenir store, like how they have it every ride, and purchased a Space Mountain T-shirt.
I have that same shirt, by the way.
Right.
Yes.
Because I loved it so much. I was like, I need a shirt of this ride so I can let everyone know that I love this ride.
Did you rip off your other shirt and put it on right away?
No.
I wish you would have.
I should have. That would have been great. This shirt means nothing now. I will forever just wear my Space Mountain shirt.
Some people talk about how awesome it is to do these things with kids because you see the excitement on their face. I want to go to Disneyland or Disney World with the two of you.
Yeah, my wife thought it was hilarious. There was so much childlike wonder. I was just like, Space Mountain. We went on that ride like 4 times that day.
Yeah.
And she just was like, this, like, any chance we could get on it because it was like not a busy day for some reason. And I was like, let's go on it again. Let's go on it again.
That's
and
so
is it a roller coaster?
Yeah, it's a wood roller coaster, but it's indoors and it's pitch black. Like, if you want to have the ride ruined, don't go on YouTube and like Google Space Mountain with the lights on because it's really not that impressive. It's more about just the experience, the lights, and just the vibe. Like you feel like you're in like a spaceship.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this now. Yeah, you're right. That was pretty cool. Of course, it might be close to 30 years since I rode that ride because I haven't been to Disney World. Yeah, I haven't been to Disney World in that long. As a matter of fact, Steve, when we went to Florida to visit my buddy, he worked at Universal. I don't think I ever went to Disney World. I just went to Universal when I was down there.
Yeah.
I think you went to Disney World after.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I did not. So it's been a long time since I've been to Disney World.
Yeah, Space Mountain's awesome.
I remember I loved Epcot, though. That's what I remember. I don't know if Epcot's changed much, but boy, I thought it was the coolest place.
Didn't feel like it changed whatsoever. It's fun. You walk around. Like, if you want to be gluttonous, you can just like eat all this awesome food. But then like you hit a point where you're just like, okay, now we're just walking around.
Yeah. I think there's maybe 3 rides there.
Yeah, I want rides. If I'm going to an amusement park, I want rides.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I like going to the different countries because that I never traveled, so it's like, oh, I feel like I'm in Italy. Of course, everybody's like, yeah, you're an idiot. But anyway, I went to Italy. I did it.
I'm going to take a guess on this list, and I don't think it's going to be that high up, but it's my favorite ride. I have it tattooed on my body, and it has to be the Haunted Mansion.
Well, Danny, you are wrong, sir. It is very high up on the list, number 2.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Best
the Haunted Mansion is a good ride to most Americans.
Is it true that they change it during Halloween?
Yes, to Nightmare Before Christmas. Only in Disneyland, not in Disney World.
That's awesome.
I don't think I've ever done it but I've done the ride, and the ride is awesome. I haven't done it when it changed, though. That's cool.
Yeah, so many special effects, ghosts everywhere.
It's fun.
And then from Halloween to Christmas at Disneyland, Jack takes over, and it's all Nightmare Before Christmas Tim Burton themed.
I put on the same level of that one. Same experience and same fun, same vibe is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yes.
Number 3 on the list, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice. Good answer.
I've only been to Disneyland once in my entire life. I was 12, and this was before the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Have you guys been on the ride, I guess, since the movies?
They put Johnny Depp in it.
Yes.
So cool. I want to go.
And the one in Disney World also has like the mermaids. They have Blackbeard. Yep. They also have Davy Jones who talks.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's cool.
I got to imagine if you were on acid, that would be the most insane trip ever.
Yes.
You'd be freaking out because it is super fun. Like you end up in the middle of like a fight, and like all the rockets are not rockets. The cannons are going off. It's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my favorite ride because I took Joey D's, and he doesn't really remember it, but he loved it when we went, and that was like the father-son trip to Disney World because we lived in Florida. So I was like, I gotta go take him there. So I did take him. I did take him to Disney World, and like I said, man. Oh boy. Maybe it was, it's been a long time, but that was the last time just taking Joe there. And I don't remember anything but the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. That's all I remember.
It's such a great ride, though. It's so memorable. I'm not even a Pirates of the Caribbean fan. I've never watched the movies. But the ride itself is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have a hard time coming up with any more rides. Maybe unless you're a super Disneyphile, because Space Mountain, Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, I know those rides. Those are iconic. But the rest of them, there's one on the list that I know, but the rest of them I don't know.
What about like the Matterhorn? I'm not a big Matterhorn fan. I thought it was a little overrated, but
not in the top 10.
Well,
okay, good.
But you know why though? Because didn't you say this was a Disney World list,
yeah.
DJ?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Matterhorn's
Disneyland.
not at Disney World.
Oh,
okay,
Steve,
question for you then.
Okay.
Do we count Disney's Hollywood Studios as part of this?
Yes.
Okay,
100%.
Dude,
is that in Orlando, the Hollywood Studios?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then you got to put the Rock and Roller Coaster ride, the Aerosmith ride.
Agreed.
And you get to pick whatever song, and I always listen to Limp Bizkit's "Rolling" while I do it. And I'm
not in the top 10.
That
Sorry,
ride
buddy.
is so awesome. I read it like 4 times in one day.
Rock and Roller Coaster is so much fun.
It is the best, and it's intense.
Yeah.
Didn't make the top 10 either. And Danny says they have put in Hollywood, the Disney Hollywood, so it should be in there, or at least for contention.
Hollywood Studios. That it's only so the equivalent at Disneyland is the California Screamin' roller coaster. And I think it's Incredibles theme now.
Yeah,
it's the same kind of but that one's the Rock and Roller Coaster's inside, whereas the one outside is
the Rock and Roller Coaster is so amazing.
What about Big Thunder?
Big Thunder, number 4, Danny.
Yeah,
Big Thunder.
That's the one at the Magic Kingdom that has the train, the runaway train roller coaster.
I love
Big
that
Thunder
one.
Mountain Railroad.
Yes, that's a blast.
Lily loves
Is that a wood one?
Yes.
Okay, because someone corrected me and said that Space Mountain's not wood; it's actually a steel roller coaster. I always thought it was wood for some reason.
I thought, who knows?
I'd had the T-shirt. I'm not a historian.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, come on, Steve. Leave it to the historians, please.
You know which one I had a lot of fun, and we waited forever to go on this ride because it was at the height of the Toy Story land being opened, and so it was just a zoo in that area. But we waited forever to go on the ride, and it's kind of a kids type ride, but as an adult, I enjoyed it. It was the Slinky Dog Dash.
Not on the list, but there is one that is on the list that is from that same universe.
Okay.
But it's not the Slinky Dog ride.
They're going with a lot of it sounds like they're going with old older rides, not like the newer ones. So if you're going Toy Story, I would have to say something Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, it's his Space Ranger spin.
That's
you're
fun.
right, Danny. There's a lot on here that I'm like, how are these better than, like you said, some of the cool new things that they're doing? Like doesn't Star Wars count? Like
Yes.
anything that's on the in Star Wars land or whatever they're calling it, that's got to be a thing.
Yeah, someone texted and said if Star Wars rides are not on this list is trash.
Yeah, and they're not.
You know what? I wonder if it's because not every adult has gone to Disney World or Disneyland, that recently.
It's true. And especially with the pandemic. I mean, Star Wars Land opened up, and it was only open for about a year maybe before everything shut down.
Good one from the texters. 2 words, Splash Mountain.
Yes.
Splash Mountain is number 5. Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And that's the one that I know. I know Splash Mountain.
I still have the greatest picture of the first time I took Lily on Splash Mountain, and she is just one of those epic kid rides where she's just screaming, and I'm trying to hold on to her, and afterwards she was like, that was the best ride ever, with tears coming down her eyes.
So I just said,
awesome.
I'm legit impressed and amazed at Danny's thorough Disney knowledge.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah. Danny is a Disneyphile. He really, really is. It's a Small World. That's number 6.
Why? As an adult, why would you like that?
I don't know.
It's the history. It's the history behind the ride, and
I mean, we rode it once, and it was like, why?
And that song is still stuck in your head.
why are we doing this?
Yeah. Maybe it's the song. It just gets in your brain. How about Dumbo the Flying Elephant? That's a ride, isn't it?
If
you're a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
it's an adult list.
It's adults saying this, unless they just enjoy seeing their kids on the ride, therefore they get pleasure out of it. The Avatar Flight of Passage, is that based on the movie Avatar?
Yes.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
Disney owns the rights to Avatar, the movies, and they opened up an entire Avatar land at Disney's Animal Kingdom in Florida.
Whoa. Ooh, so is this like a 3D ride, probably?
I believe it is.
Okay, that seems like that would be good. I'd like to see that.
If we're talking Hollywood Studios, of the Disney Hollywood Studios, then, I mean, the Twilight Zone ride, the Tower of Terror.
God, that's so good.
I hate those free fall rides, like the ones that you go like where you sit and you just drop. Like I just do not like those. They don't do anything for
towers,
me.
Yeah.
But the Tower of Terror is so good.
And
not in the top 10.
What the F, BJ? What the hell, man?
I'm so sorry. I know. I really should have done a better list for you.
Well, and also a fun fact on that one, too. Twilight. So it's Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. It's still only Twilight Zone in Florida because that was the original. Whereas now in Disneyland, they used to have a Twilight Zone
The
Tower
Guardians
of
of the Galaxy?
Yeah. And all of you Marvel nerds will love it. I'm not a big fan of it.
Is it still the same vibe? But
Kind of. They redid everything. So it's still a drop tower, but it tells more of a story of the characters.
They're trying to escape from a prison
or something.
Yeah, I remember
right out of the
reading
first
about
movie.
it.
And I thought it was interesting that the Disneyland version of the Tower of Terror and the Disney World version of Tower of Terror not completely different, but there was a massive difference.
Yes.
There's like a part in that ride that's not the same. And I thought that was kind of cool when I rode the one in Disney World. I was like, this isn't like that.
Agreed.
It was cool.
Yes.
Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. What the heck is that?
I don't even know what the hell that is.
Is that a...
Danny
I think I've
looks annoyed.
seen that. Is that a ride?
Yeah, I want to say it's the one. I could be wrong with this, but I believe it's the one at Epcot where it's in the big wheel. What's in the big ball, and you just go through it and it tells you of all the advancements in
exactly. I
technology.
remember that's not a ride. It's cool, but it's not a ride.
Well, I mean, at the same time, it's the same thing as Pirates. You just go through you're in a boat and you go through the same thing. It's like,
I'm moving, aren't I?
Yeah, you're moving.
Yeah, you're right. I guess in that respect, I remember that one. I'm saying Vicky showed me pictures now, and I do remember that.
That sounds like they're going to try and sell you like a timeshare. Right?
Yeah, so terrible. How about Test Track? Did you ever go on Test Track, Steve?
I don't even know what Test Track is. Let's see, it's at Epcot.
It's at Epcot, and so it's you're basically in a test car, quote unquote, with the crash dummies, and it's like you go through, and it takes you in a car through like all different kinds of things, and it speeds up to like 90 miles an hour.
No.
It's so cool.
That sounds amazing.
That sounds horrifying.
Don't know that
you
one.
get car sick.
Well, there you go.
I've puked on a Ferris wheel. I have no input on this.
This
one.
This is not the Revs world.
No, it's not.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's another question from a listener. I'm getting my wages garnished. Can bankruptcy help with that?
Absolutely. One of the big reasons people file bankruptcy is because they have a judgment or a lawsuit against them, or their wages are getting garnished, and so they can't pay their other regular ongoing bills. People sometimes think that you can't file bankruptcy once they have a judgment against them or once a garnishment has started, and that's not true. Filing bankruptcy will immediately stop any garnishment that you have going, except for child support, and stop your creditors from continuing on with garnishments of your bank account, your wages, and in most cases will discharge that liability through the bankruptcy process. And we can file a bankruptcy case for you usually the day you come in.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
New on Curiosity Stream. Are we close to building machines that are almost human? And can new technology give us superpowers? Find out on Super Sapiens. And in 1919, a British composer wrote the longest and most complex symphony in history. Conductors tried to perform it, but failed, declaring it cursed. Now a group of musicians will attempt the impossible, if they dare, on Curse of the Gothic Symphony. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.